Hello there, and thank you for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and this is all my pleasure for sure to show you this. This is the big one. Not in size, but certainly in stature. There was not a poster made for this event, so this small handbill is what we have, and boy, are we representing with this one. This date is simply a watershed in music history, not just the Bay Area San Francisco scene, but in music history. This piece of paper was a handout, a free flyer given away to advertise Bill Graham's very first rock dance. It's pretty much that simple. Bill Graham's career as a rock promoter was born on this night. Now, strictly from a musical standpoint, you can see the artist down there along the bottom. Hope the contrast and the focus is pretty good. You've got the Jefferson Airplane. They were just about 3 months old at this point. 3 months old, using that name after opening the Matrix. And you've got folk artist Sandy Bull and the John Hendy Quintet representing jazz. But what this thing really represents, besides of course trying to raise money for the San Francisco Mime Troupe, is the birth of Bill Graham's career. And what would happen from this point onwards is just all history. What can you say? Bill did work for the SF Mime Troupe. He was like their treasurer and business manager, and he had been working for them a couple of years. But this summer, the summer of '65, their founder and leader, Ronnie Davis, had been arrested in the park for performing without a permit, and he had been convicted on November 1st. So they really worked fast on this one, and just a few days later, here was the benefit, as you can see, on November 6th. So, and that's, of course, Bill Graham's organizational skills were just really shining. He was put in charge of fundraising to pay for the legal expenses. So, 3 were scheduled, 3 of this Mime Troupe benefits, 5 weeks apart. 1 in November, 1 in December, and 1 in January. What's hilarious is, naively, the first one was held in the Mime Troupe's offices. In an industrial loft on Howard Street in San Francisco. It's all right on here. It was sort of known as the Calliope Warehouse. And as a matter of fact, I took a picture of the Howard Street loft a few years ago, but it's a modern day picture. But there you have it. And you can sort of look at the offices up there on the 2nd floor and say, wow, well, that would hold a few hundred people nicely. And you're right, it would have just fine. And that's what they expected. But guess what? According to Bill Graham's biography, or perhaps it's his autobiography, there's 2 books on Graham, 4,000 people traipsed through a space that was meant to hold 500 to 600. So 4,000, oh my God. So as you can imagine, the police tried to break it up and put an end to the proceedings and fire danger and all that stuff that showed up, I think, around midnight. But Bill did his usual thing by just entertaining the police and putting them at bay and everything. And by 6:30 the next morning, the loft was still 90% full. It was definitely an all-night historic party, that's for sure. Now, Graham booked the talent, but he knew nothing about the music scene. He was coming off the Mime Troupe stuff, and Bill wasn't a huge music fan other than Latin music and stuff, so he booked the Jefferson Airplane just because their rehearsal space was up there in the loft, so that's how he knew them. By the way, the Airplane this night reportedly did 3 songs. It's No Secret, the Marty Ballin original, Tobacco Road, and Runnin' Round This World, which, interestingly enough, was a rare track pulled off their first album right after the first pressing. So anyway, about this handbill itself, look how, it's nothing on the other side. It's small. As you can see, it's sort of rust-colored or light red or brownish printing on white paper. And Graham said in his biography that he said we had thousands of them printed for free. Now, naturally, I'm not surprised at the free part. The thousands part, I'm a little bit surprised at. But that's what Bill says. And it was designed by Peter Bailey, who would go on to design, in fact, Graham's first concert poster, BG1, for the Fillmore Auditorium, the yellow poster with the flying red horse and stuff, the airplane. That's the same guy, Peter Bailey, who designed this. And it's only like 6.5 by 8.5 inches. It's just really small for such a huge event. It just cracks me up. That's just amazing. They did do a reprint, by the way, much later in 1990, which was the more size you would have expected. Here it is, the normal, whatever this is, 8.5 by 10 or something. So that's the repro for people who can't find one of these. But it's just, when I first saw this, have you ever seen the Mona Lisa at the Louvre? It's the first time you see it, you can't believe it. The thing has such stature, and you just imagine, a regular-sized painting, and this Mona Lisa is this little tiny thing, and that's the exact sort of impression I had when I first saw this in person, in real. It's just, it's just so small. But, this handbill has the airplane down at the bottom, as I said, Sandy Bull and so forth, but the focus of the handbill is definitely not music. They're not selling music here. It's about rallying the artistic community, sort of this us versus them mentality. And this thing really, and all this print you see here, really chides the San Francisco Parks Commission. It was easy for Graham to round up local support because all the musicians and the artists and the college students, hippies, beatniks, radicals, they were all really, really concerned about the huge implications of the Mime Troupe's bust over censorship. So, getting the support was not hard at all. And as for all the attendees who were lucky enough to walk up those stairs on this, November 6, 1965, wow, they didn't know it at the time. They had no idea, but they were like pioneers of the new youth culture that would sweep the world within a year. And something was definitely happening, but whatever it is, after this night, nothing would ever be the same again. As for Graham himself, well, as I said, his career was born this night. He found religion. He became a changed man. I mean, there's great stories in his books, his bios and stuff, people just throwing money at him between $1 and $48 each. If you were a millionaire, you're supposed to pay $48. Sounds like a modern day ticket. But he just had, just sacks of money and everything. He couldn't believe all these people who just would show up and support this. He was just blown away, and he knew what he was going to do from this night onwards. And he drove off that morning on his scooter, all the money in the backpack and everything, ready to become the Pied Piper, if you will, of San Francisco, creating music that people could dance to. Wow, Mime Troupe Appeal's Handbill. What a beautiful collector's item. What a nice piece. Hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the story. Hope you did too. Thanks a lot for coming by. The next piece won't be as historic or seminal. Hopefully it'll be half as fun. Okay, have a nice day. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.